Teamster Power 767 Reality Check with Jeff Schenfeld and Garfield Hooper. How's everyone doing today? I'm Jeff Schenfeld.
And I'm Garfield Hooper.
And this is Teamster Power 767 Reality Check. So today we're going to be talking about supervisors working. One of the biggest issues, okay? I think that, this has been going on for years. I don't know how this thing is ever going to stop because nothing has been really put in place to stop it or to hinder it. I mean, I thought something would be done in the contract, but instead they threw money at it and it's quadruple time.
Well, I mean, it's just like the 9-5 stuff. Like, so long as the company's got the money to pay for the penalty, then it's not really it's not really an issue, is it?
It's just, and again, everyone needs to know it's about jobs.
Yeah.
Every time a supervisor works, that takes away a bargaining unit job, 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's not right. And when someone settles a grievance, it goes to that one person. We want people working, want everyone working, want everyone getting paid, and it's just not happening. Now the only way to the penalty on this is filing. So we're all file as much as we can because that's the mechanism there. Okay, we're gonna but we have to keep doing it. I just wish it was something to the effect of maybe if a certain amount of supervisors work, they create a full-time job.
Yeah, because there's something like that for the TCD language. Like if a TCD works a certain amount of reports in a year, it creates another full-time job.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen something like that in. As a matter of fact, that's how I got converted from TCD to full-time, was because I had worked so many reports.
Yeah.
And I was next in line. They made me a full-time driver because I'd continued to work so many reports in a year.
Absolutely.
But like I would love to see like something like that with the supervisors working. Like if we're filing so many grievances on these, and it's bad on like. It's always seems to be worse for the part-timers and so local sorts, preloads, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because oftentimes, they're just trying to get done.
Yep.
And, I hate to say this, but it seems like a lot of them are just, trying to get out the door.
I know. I mean, but at the same time, because they're getting beat up, they're getting yelled at, they're getting this and that. But I mean, it's just like all this starts right at the beginning, even the setup, right? We were talking about it before, right?
Yeah, it's in the contract that any type of work area setup, like if you're a clerk or you work internationals or hazmats or something like that, and you come in and your work area has been set up or your computers have been set up, and I know in certain smaller buildings, like they have to move computers and stuff around to different areas.
Yeah,
like you're responsible for that. That's bargaining unit work that you should be doing.
Yep.
So if they're telling you, oh well, we need you to start 30 minutes later, and you come in and that stuff's already done, that's time that you should have been at work doing that for this company, not the supervisors.
Absolutely. And everyone needs to know that. Setting up, cleaning up, that's all bargaining unit work. And I know, at the end, sometimes people just want to go home again because they've been gotten beaten up and stuff like that. But just, if we're gonna do this right, that's just give the work to the people who are supposed to get the work. Your management, you're not supposed to get anything. Okay.
But preload's a rough job. I did it for 4 years.
Yep.
And I heard a lot of there was a lot of pushback. I feel about around the contract when people were realizing like, well, we're holding up for $21 or whatever, $25 for that, and I'd happily argue with those guys. It's like this is a rough job. You deserve to make a living wage.
Yep.
If you're gonna be doing this job, and
Absolutely.
That's one of the few things about this contract that I was happy about, that they gave them a pretty significant pay bump.
They did. Could they've done better? I don't know. But that's right now. That's for another day. But so when it comes to supervisors working, as a steward, I'll come in the building 5:36 in the morning, check for egress, check for supervisors working, check for anything, seniority. I mean, they violate seniority left and right, and we have an extra work call-in list.
Well,
the problem is they never exhaust. Oh, just use 8 drivers. Oh, just use 7 drivers. Well, okay. If a supervisor's working and you only used 5 out of the 25 or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
Nope, I want to get paid 100%. That's
Yeah.
it. If you don't use the list at all, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's where people need to understand. Everyone needs to put on their grievance if they know, if the calling list wasn't used, wasn't maximized, they didn't use the whole thing, you should be paid 100%.
And the company likes to be like, oh, well, we'll give you 40% of this, or we'll give you 60% of this, or something like that. I'm like, at one point, show me proof that you used a call-in list, that you even looked at a call-in list. Yeah. And like, another thing that's important too is, in the contract it states that if there isn't a local practice already, that a bid list should go up once a month for part-timers to bid on, like if they want a double shift, for whether that be preload to local, local to preload, or I know there's several other centers that run like day sorts and everything like that. So but like those lists should be posted up. They should, people should be informed about them. They should put their accurate information, and they should be utilized instead of throwing a part-time or full-time supervisor on there to do that job. Yeah. And if it's not, then somebody is owed that double pay or quadruple pay if they continue to do it.
Yeah, and they do it. You notice you watch supervisors, and then they just do it. They're supervisors. Supervise. Yeah. Don't work. Yeah. Don't touch the packages. Yeah. And I'll say to them, no matter how many times I've said it to them, I'll go up to them and say, you're not supposed to work. Well, my supervisor, my manager told me to do it. Doesn't mean it's right. No. Doesn't mean it's right at all.
No. And I tell you what, if your manager told you to do that, then you write that manager's name down on this piece of paper and put on there exactly the time that you started work and stopped work today, and we'll take care of it from there. Yeah. Because if it keeps happening, and if your supervisor is the one telling you to do that, you pay out $10,000, $20,000 in supervisor working grievances. Yeah. Somebody's going to say something to that supervisor, to that manager.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just acceptable for them to pay this, to pay these things. And we have so many, hundreds of thousands of pieces of proof that they're doing this. Yeah. And I don't know why we don't take a harder stand on it. It's always bothered me because of them basically, like I said, stealing jobs from us. Yeah. And I'll get to the point where I'll go up to a supervisor. And again, like you said, in the contract, they have to notify us when they work, right? They don't. So I go up to a supervisor. Okay, so let me ask you, what time did you start working? They know me over there, right? Yeah. I'm not playing around. I mean, I said, hey, how long you been working? And they'll tell me. Yeah. Do I believe that they're telling me the whole time? No. But they'll kind of tell me, it was roughly, from this time to this time. Okay, so I'm going to put that down. At this time, you told me that this was it. And that's it. You go by that. Yeah. I mean, they're telling you that they're working. They should be telling you. We shouldn't have to ask them. No. They're supposed to come up to us. But we have to do our due diligence because, the company's not going to do the right thing. No. I just, and I'm sure for them to put on someone else the cost of insurance and this and that, 30, 40, 50,000, whatever it is, 70,000 total for everything, they're not going to do that. So they're going to work, right? Yeah. Well, if you're going to work, we're going to hold you accountable. Yeah. I just wish there was something more of more significance.
And so many of the supervisors and management will take it personally. Oh, well, while you're like, it's not coming out of your pocket. Yeah. You're not writing me a personal check. Yeah. Like, this company has a duty per this contract to have a staff. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't for whatever reason. So you put this supervisor to work because you, as a manager, need this work to be done. Yep. Well, and it's me as a steward or a BA or whatever, it's our job to hold you accountable. Or member. Like a driver that's been doing this for 2 weeks, 2 years, 20 years, has the right to file that grievances and get that paid.
That's it. That's the truth. I mean, we're the bargaining unit. They're not. It's our work. And again, I want to go back to it. So if they don't use the list or exhaust the whole list, you should get 100%. Put that on there. Yeah. And also, if they're sending people home. So if they're sending people home, but yet the supervisors are working, they always say, we're staffed up. That's why they sometimes don't use the full list. Okay, by the sheer number of grievances we're going to file, you're lying. Yeah. Right? And that's a fact. Yeah. And, don't start getting mad at us. Like we said, it's not our fault. How about not working? Yeah. And again, sending people home, then they'll say, well, they left on their own. Oh, the hell they did.
No, they didn't. If you needed him to stay.
Yeah. Come on. I mean, it's baloney. All of a sudden, you don't have control, but you act like you have control normally. So, this is something I hope gets addressed. Now we got to wait till the next contract, right? So it's just quadruple time, but there's nothing in there that creates jobs from it.
No. Well, at least unlike the other quadruple time, I feel like we might actually get this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it still remains to be
I
seen whether anybody will
know.
get quadruple time out of the 9-5 worker.
It's contingent.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not just, okay, you get quadruple time. Well, we'll see here. We'll have this
Yeah.
meeting here. Again, that's for another time. But
Yeah.
that's going to be, that's a problem.
That's going to be its own podcast.
Yeah, yeah, maybe two, part A and part B, you know. So, but you know, again, we want everyone should put their name on the list.
Yep.
We can stop a supervisor from working.
Yeah.
And again, how many times over the years as a steward, as a BA, you guys need to stop working.
Yep.
You guys need these workers, and they'll go over to them and they'll act like they're doing something. Then the very next day, okay, so why are they still working?
Yeah.
Well, I had to. This was coming down, so why didn't you staff up better?
Yeah.
And the excuses keep rolling. Well, we don't have these people showing up. And I get people don't show up. I get members.
People won't answer their phones.
Yeah. I mean, I get some, but you still should have staff.
Yeah.
I mean, properly staffed. Don't just borderline, and if one person calls in, you're understaffed.
Yeah.
You know? So that's a problem that should be fixed. But again, money was thrown at it.
Yeah.
And nothing we can do. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But being that that's the case, everybody needs to file. If there's a supervisor working next to you in the preload, file on them.
Yeah.
They're violating the contract.
There's a few things going on in my center about some of that. Some of the people have gotten a little butt hurt because higher seniority drivers have started filing on those, so they're not winning those grievances.
Yeah.
But my stance as a steward, and honestly, your stance as a member should be that, so long as the company is being held accountable, I don't care who the money goes to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You. Start...
I mean, honestly, I would like for if it's a part-time position.
Yeah.
I would love for those part-timers to be filing the grievances and them to be getting the money.
Absolutely.
Because they're the ones that are being hurt the most by part-time supervisors working and stuff like that. Now, the company gets paid more if I file that grievance, or the company has to pay out more if I file that grievance.
Yeah.
But I'm not the one that should be filing on it. Like if a part-time area is being done by a supervisor, then I feel like part-timers should be the one filing on it.
Well, it is. I was actually, when I was the BA out in McKinney, I said to the labor manager, let's walk the building. Walk in the building. He's watching all the supervisors work. He's just shaking his head. So at the end of walking around, I go, do me a favor. Can you make sure you spell those names correct when you send me that email of everyone who was working? Yeah. I mean, there's nothing he could do. Yeah. So what I did was I filed an OBO, and the top 10 or 15 in the preload got the money. Yeah. So we can do that too. Yeah. We can file the OBOs.
We file on their behalf.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because of the people, whoever might not have been working enough hours or this and that, but whatever, you just give it back. Yeah. Just give it back if you can. If they're taking away hours from them, this and that, no matter what, you just, hey, this is, bargaining unit work. Like we keep saying, bargaining unit work. That's our work. Yes, we're going to keep saying it because that's where all the work should be going to. Yep. Okay. And there are other problems going on, but this is a big problem. Yeah. Again, we want more jobs, not less jobs.
Yeah. And it's never going to stop if people don't file.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't matter. And honestly, if you're filing the same as on the same supervisor as somebody else, like, sure, you may not get paid, but that's extra pay. That's extra paperwork that this company's like, hey, we got 3 drivers filed on this supervisor that's working. Yeah. Obviously, or 3 or 2 drivers and a couple of a preloader or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, people are seeing this happen. Like, it's happening all over the place. You got multiple people filing grievances. It doesn't hurt our case. It helps us. It gives us more paperwork showing that these supervisors are working at these times, that all these people are seeing it. Yeah. And, that should, to me, would justify another job.
Absolutely. And at the rate they're doing it is so egregious. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So, but, what we can do, the way everything is, just keep filing. Yep. Everyone needs to file. Don't let them get away with it. Don't let them get away with 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah. You file on it. Yeah. File on it. So, but I think it was important that we talked about this because, like you said, it's a problem. And, when it comes down to jobs and creating jobs, that's very important.
Yeah.
So, but okay, but again, we'll keep bringing this up. This is not something that just is
No.
a one off, and none of this stuff is just, we're always going to keep bringing up stuff. It's repetition. People need to hear it.
Yeah.
So, but all right. Well, once again, I'm Jeff Schenfeld,
And I'm Garfield Hooper.
and this is Teamster Power 767 Reality Check.
Our experiences deal largely with the Southern Region Supplement. This is just an information podcast, and if you have questions, it's best to contact your local steward or business agent.
And remember, strong people stand up for themselves, but the strongest people stand up for others.